Oh, Sergei Pavlovich, yeah.
Pavlovich. Yeah, okay. So
You
he's
training
great,
with
man.
that guy? Jesus Christ,
Yeah,
man.
every Tuesday, Thursday, man, we have sparring sessions.
That
That guy's
guy's an
he's a tank.
assassin, dude.
Yeah, he's a tank. Trying to shoot on him, and he's like a wall.
Today we're joined again by a Bellator heavyweight, Sowma. He takes on Tim Johnson at Bellator 294. What's going on, man?
Same old same, man. Training, getting ready, preparing, doing everything I can to give the best performance yet.
Yeah, for sure, right? That's always the goal, right? To put on the best performance possible in that next fight. So I would imagine you're going hard at it, right? It looks like you're going hard at it. What's it mean to you, man? It's a co-main event on a big card. Like, what are the feelings right now? You got to be pumped up. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I think because he's such a big name. I think it's has a lot of opportunity for me,
Yeah.
and yeah, I love fighting, so it's good.
For sure, you definitely love fighting, right? I mean, you're very good at it. You're right. You got to this point because you love it. Let me ask you, right? When you're facing a guy like this, right? Is there any extra motivation for a fight like this, a co-main event, an experienced guy, number 6 in the division, or is it? Do you always have that same approach in every fight where you're always leaving no stone unturned? Like, are you that kind of guy, regardless?
I I think I get more motivated when I have a bigger name against me, because
Yeah,
it's a better chance to prove myself with a lesser known name. I sometimes I feel like this is a bad thing. I'm not saying it's good, but I feel less of a threat. I train just as hard because I always train because I enjoy training. So training hard is not the issue. It's more of a mindset that changes, and then I got to get out of that. So that's basically it.
kind of like a good team playing to the level of the competition, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, fighting is a whole different thing from like basketball or something. So
Yeah.
let me ask you this, man. Before we get into that last fight, before we get into the next fight, rather, I want to touch on the last fight a little bit. It was one that we discussed the last time. Um, I mean, how does it feel, man? I mean, I went back and saw the fight again today for the second time, and respectfully, no disrespect to your opponent, but I feel like you did win the fight for sure. I mean, what do you feel like when you're on the other side of a bad decision like that?
There's really nothing you can do, because judges see what they see, and we're entertainers. We have to just paint a perfect picture.
Yeah.
There's nothing else I can do. There's one slip up that I've heard that they thought was like I think he threw a quick hook as I stepped in with a jab,
The first round,
and
yeah.
I went to the ground, but nothing really happened. I popped right back up, but they saw it as like, oh, he got knocked down, he was almost out, like, so
Wasn't
they
able
gave
to
him a
see
lot
the
of points.
replay. Was that so? It was just completely a slip. No, you weren't hurt, nothing,
No,
right?
he did hit me,
Okay.
but right when you jump forward, if someone hits the top of your head, it's like pushing a fridge at the top of it. It's gonna tip, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So all my momentum is going forward. So I tipped. I was fine. No rock, like nothing. No vision issues. It was good, but I could have laid it on him more. I was playing it safe because I don't know. I didn't feel. I didn't feel I needed to do more for some reason. But that's what it's on me. I do think it's a bad decision. I thought I was winning, so I didn't do enough. But when I'm winning, I should always do more, or just always assume I'm losing.
Yeah, listen, I think that's a good mindset, right? You seem like if you're a very positive guy, even after the fight, right? A lot of guys would kind of be really pissed off. You immediately went, embraced him, shook his hand, right? So I think it says a lot about you. But it's funny because even on the commentary, like when there's like seconds left in the fight, they're like, he's turning into a contender before our very eyes. I don't like because I saw the fight recently, and now
Yeah.
it's like, you know what I mean? It's like such a like plot twist. You know what I'm saying?
So Big John scored it differently than the judges, and that's why I say it's the judges. It wasn't even. It's not him. He's doing the best he did, right? It's not
Of
my
course,
opponent.
not his fault.
Yeah. So whatever happens is I can't be mad at him. It's it's a judge's decision. Whatever they see is from one angle, looks completely different from another angle. John McCarthy, I think he has more experience. He's been around far longer than most judges, so I think personally, I think he's a better judge than most judges nowadays. There have been a few like weird calls recently. I don't know if you've been keeping up with all of Bellator, but there's been a bunch of weird calls that I don't agree with. So yeah, man. So there's what can I really do? You know, all I can do is start knocking people out or start finishing fights, make it more clear. That's my job.
Does something like that stick in your head now in terms of like your upcoming fight and even in the future? Like, is that in your head?
Yeah. So that's why I said I'm always gonna fight like I'm behind on points, you know?
Yeah.
Like if the guy's all bloodied up, not a scratch on me, like he's like huffing and puffing, I'm gonna still go in there like he's like I'm behind and he's winning.
Not, I'm not even, I never talk about this stuff. So I don't like to beat the, I don't like to beat the drum on this thing, but the open scoring, you think that would be like smart maybe in the future of MMA to be able to know, like what the score is? Cause again, you say that, right? But you're saying that based on the rule set, right? It wouldn't have to necessarily be that way if you knew what the score was, right?
Yeah, I think I'm for open scoring. I don't see anything bad about it. Like what because well, I don't understand why it would be a bad thing that you can't see that. Like we see the fight, so why not just see that what the judges see? If
Yeah.
anything, I guess the only issue would be like guys would just fight towards the scorecards, like in jiu-jitsu matches, you know? Like the second someone grabs you, it's like, oh, illegal, ref, and then you get disqualified,
Yeah. That's true.
like shit like that. So well, stuff like that. Sorry. Um, who knows, man? But you're still gonna fight. All fighters just want to fight. It doesn't
Absolutely.
matter. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on to what matters, right? The stuff we can control, the future. You're facing Tim Johnson. What do you make of him as an opponent stylistically when you look at his game overall?
He's how do I explain his style, man? He's a tough dude, hits hard.
Sure.
He's big, like all heavy. It's like all heavyweights, big heavy dude hitting hard. But I think his skill is that he's underestimated and overestimated at the same time because you're like what's he good at? You can't really tell, but then he gets in your face and he does that rush he does and knocks
Yeah.
people out, man. So it's he's a hard tell.
For sure, right? And obviously, I don't want to sound generic here, but you got to ask the question, how has the preparation for Tim been? How has the training camp been? Has it been one of the better training camps, would you say? Has it been pretty good? Like how would you rate the training camp so far?
I think it's one of my best ones for sure. I've been training with Sergei. Shoot, I can't say his last name good, but
Pavlovich?
the rank number 3 UFC guy,
Oh, Sergei
uh,
Pavlovich, yeah.
Pavlovich. Yeah, okay, so
You
he's
train
great,
with
man.
that guy? Jesus Christ,
Yeah,
man.
every Tuesday, Thursday, man, we have sparring sessions.
That
That
guy's
guy's
an
he's a
assassin,
tank.
dude.
Yeah, he's a tank. Trying to shoot on him, and he's like a wall.
Oh my God. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
imagine. So
yeah, but
how's the training been?
good, man. He's a great training partner. It's very tough stuff, and I think it's a good preparation. The only thing is the southpaw and orthodox thing, but if it punches to the head is punches to the head. So if I see him coming, I'll be fine.
For sure. Yeah, punches to the head is punches to the head. Yeah, I like that. Um, he's fought a number of guys over the course of his career, right? Do you look at him as one of the more experienced fighters you faced?
Tim?
Tim, yep.
Yes, I do. I think he's a lot of big names, right? I
Yeah,
haven't seen it. I haven't looked at his full record, but he's been around for a while, and he's just a game opponent that's yeah, he's been around. Uh, I prefer fighting guys like this because then fighting higher names, that's how you make a name for yourself, right?
for
If you
sure.
beat a bunch of cans, you're just a can beater.
It's true. Yeah, nobody wants to be a can beater. You definitely want to test yourself.
Yeah,
So to be honest, when I looked it up, I was a little surprised he was as high as 6, just respectfully because he was coming off a few losses. I thought maybe it'd be like 8, 9, something like that. But that's even better for you, right? So how
great for
important?
me.
Yeah, for sure. How important do you think this fight is as far as vaulting you right back into the mix?
I think this is a very important fight for me because it's my last fight on the contract. Coming off 2 decision losses, regardless of how they happened. Um, I got to make a statement,
Yeah,
and fighting number 6 is great. Also, I'm not sure how the Bellator ranking works, so I don't even know if I'll be ranked after the fight, regardless if I beat him or not.
I would think you would be
Um,
right if you beat the number 6 guy, you'd get in
I
there.
I would assume so, yeah, but who knows with the Bellator ranking? It's been very weird. Do you know if Gokhan Saricam just fought the Russian dude? I forgot his name. And but Gokhan was 10. This guy was unranked, and he beat Gokhan, but stayed behind him in the
You're talking
ranking.
about that Popov guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But he stayed number 10 and Gokhan stayed number 9 then because Fedor fell out. He retired.
Gokhan's number 9. Yeah.
So that doesn't make sense, right? It's like they should switch.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how the Bellator rankings work, to be honest. Then,
Yeah,
like,
listen, I hear you. Even like UFC rankings are weird. Like the whole ranking system is kind of weird because it's based on like who. It's not like clear cut, right? It's not like a playoff
exactly,
bracket, right? That's what's a good thing
yeah,
about like Grand Prix. At least it's clear cut. There's a bracket,
exactly,
but like it's
yeah,
like the college football playoffs. Like I don't know if you watch that. I hate that because it's like you have to pick the best 4 teams. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's just a picking system. I agree. Grand Prix are better with that. Yeah.
For
So who
sure.
knows, man? Who knows what'll happen with that?
Yeah, man. Well, I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. Do you think the matchmakers saw? Do you think the matchmakers saw the great performance you put on in the last fight, regardless of the result, and they kind of rewarded you almost to continue you on that upward trajectory? Do you think, or not at all?
I don't know if it's a reward or a or a punishment to to get me out because Tim's a tough dude. So
Okay,
it's like, all right, Saeed's done. Tim needs to win. Let's give Tim this guy. Or Tim's done. Saeed's a tough dude. He fought, I beat someone who beat Tim. So they're giving one of us something. I don't know who they're picking though. I'm not sure. I really am not.
yeah. And I think another question that gets thrown around a lot, is what do you want next, this and that. But and I'm not gonna ask you that, but I'm curious, what would excite you if you were to get past him? Like, what kind of stuff would it like? You know what I mean? What kind of stuff would excite you? Obviously, everyone wants to fight for the title, but I'm sure
Yeah.
you would want to get in there probably with another ranked guy, right?
I think, yeah, I don't think I deserve the title after this fight. If I after the what's it called after the fight with Vitaly, if I beat Davion or another guy after, I think I would have deserved it because if I beat the ex champ, I should get to the champ, right?
Yeah,
But I think they set me back a year or so. So a rematch with Steve Murray, I think would be cool
that'd be fun. Yeah,
because yeah, it's just he's ranked high. I'll beat a big name, and we never really finished our fight. Like we even sat and talked after. Like he's a really cool dude. Um, Told him, man, I really wanted to finish it. I just couldn't get up off that chair. Like I had so much adrenaline rush. I could not stand up, even if I wanted to.
for sure. And speaking of the division, right? Obviously, it's always, I guess, important to keep tabs on the champion. That's the guy everyone's gunning for, right? When you look at Ryan Bader, do you look at him? Because obviously, there's a lot of champions, right, in MMA, whether it's Bellator, PF. There's some dominant champions out there now. Do you look at
Mhm.
Ryan as a dominant champion, or do you? Without, I mean, we're not here to like knock the guy, but when you look at it
Yeah,
realistically, do you see him as a guy who's, again, a dominant champion, or do you see him as someone who can be beat?
I think he's pretty good at. I think he's much better at heavyweight than 205.
For
Obviously,
sure.
um, yeah, I do think he's going to be a hard fight. I think Linton deserves the next fight, and I think that will be a tough fight for
Hassel.
Linton because Linton Vassell, he's a he has some striking, he has heavyweight power like all of them, but Linton is actually a good wrestler and grappler, and that's where Bader's strength actually comes in.
Yeah,
So I think that would be a good match, real fun to watch. But so him being dominant, he's dominant over most heavyweights, but then Linton is going to be a what you call it, like a little different too because he's also a grappler, you know.
sure. Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's dominant for now. Something will pop up, the next generation's coming up.
Do you think it's like an older division? Because I was speaking to Tyrell Fortune, and he said he feels like the division's kind of, there's a bunch of older guys in the
Yeah,
division. Do you
yeah,
agree with
that's
that?
that's what I meant with that. Like the next generation's coming up, like he is on the older side, and it's he's kept up with the new stuff, but I think the next generation coming up will be more diverse as heavyweights because the heavyweights are a little smaller, more athletic than they used to be. They used to just be big brawlers. You don't even need to know any jiu-jitsu or wrestling. And then the smaller heavyweights are like, you know what? I'm just taking them down and ground and pound. That's what this generation's up for. And
Yeah,
then,
that's true.
yeah, if they can keep up, then they'll do fine because they've been in it longer until their body gives out. And heavyweights get to last longer in most weight classes, so that's the good part. But all in all, then the cardio will set in. if the newer, younger heavyweights start wrestling the older guys, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as this fight, right? It's in Honolulu. Have you ever been to Hawaii before?
No, it's my first time.
Is it exciting or is it more so like because it could be exciting or it could be like, yeah, I'm just focused on this fight. I don't give a shit about the beaches and all that. You know what I mean?
So fight week, I just want to sit in my room. Honestly, I don't do much. I
There.
want to train to be in my room, but then I'm staying a couple days after to, you know, to go see Hawaii a little bit. My wife's coming with me, so
Nice. Okay.
we'll have some fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a nice little trip.
And when are you heading out?
I think we head out the 17th, so fight week.
Okay, good. You think that'll give
Yeah.
you enough time to sort of be acclimated and all that stuff?
When I went to Russia, I did not. I didn't feel any. I didn't have any issues with sleep, so I think I'll be fine. I'm actually a night owl. I'll be up all night just fine. So as long as I just nap before, I think I always sleep like as much as I can before a fight. So I think I'll be fine.
Fair, yeah. And I'm sure that the Russian time difference is probably way greater, right? So where are you right now? Which state?
I'm in Florida.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I think it's actually a bigger difference over there, but
Oh, maybe. Okay, yeah, you're pretty far
they
away. Fair, yeah.
yeah, they say it's well, one of my coaches says it's more the like the weather, the humidity, and all that stuff. That's what really gets you too, because then your body.
Okay.
But if it's the same climate, you shouldn't feel it as much. So I'm just trusting my coach. You know, he's been. Oh, Autumn Levin is
Yeah,
my
you're in
instructor.
tropical weather, right? In Florida, so
Yeah, so
should
it
be
should
good
be
to go.
similar.
Yeah.
It's not high. Um, not in the mountains, hopefully. And if I am, well, then I know Tim's going to 17th too, so it's going to be bad for both of us.
Yeah. So, I mean, you'll be fine then, I'm sure. And it can't be that like I guess it's not as exciting for you as I initially thought since you live around palm trees and beaches and all that. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If I was in cold weather, I'm sure it'd be a great surprise to like,
right. If you lived like in Minnesota, it might be a little distracting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's similar, but there's a lot of sharks there, so I don't know about those beaches and stuff.
Oh, dude, I can't. That's surfing, like things like surfing, all that stuff looks so fun, except for sharks. That ruins it for me, man. That's it.
I agree. I agree. I can't do sharks.
Yeah. Like if I was actually, I don't want to say it because you're gonna go on a plane. I was gonna say if I was on a plane and it was gonna crash, I'd be more worried about surviving and getting eaten by sharks and crashing like by impact against the water. You know what I'm saying? Honestly,
Yeah, yeah. You survived, and they're definitely coming.
for
Free
sure.
meals.
Yeah. All right.
That's fun.
Well, yeah, that would be scary. That's one thing.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right. Well, Saeed, thanks for coming on again to talk with us. I appreciate the time and I'm looking forward to the fight. Guys, you can check him out at Bellator 294 versus Tim Johnson, April 21st, the co-main event, a very big fight for the heavyweight division. Again, thanks for coming on, man.